Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Nneka Chiazor, your host, Vice President, Public and Government Affairs for Cox Communications in Virginia. And I'm in good company today with Tara Brown. Tara. Hi, Tara.
Hello, Nneka. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Awesome. I'm so happy to have you here. For those of you who may not know Tara, she's an executive in the cable industry, but notably, she's a national humorist who performs clean and family-friendly comedy across the country. Rated G comedy. Is that right, Tara?
That is very right. Yes, I do.
All right. She shared stages with big names like Jeannie Robertson, Alana Glazer, and the late John Witherspoon. She's won numerous awards in this space, including Fight Night and Comedy Battle at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. She's also been a two-time finalist for Comedian of the Year at Queen City Nerve Awards. That's huge.
That's big.
And that's just to name a few. We can go on and on about your accolades in this humorous space.
We could, but we won't do that. We won't do that.
We could do that. We could do that. I'm going to do that to you. Tara, I am so happy to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining us on In Good Company.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. So now you refer to yourself as a humorist. Truth be told, I had not heard that term before until we started talking. Can you explain to us the difference between a humorist and a comedian?
There's not a lot of difference to it. I know in the speaking community, like in Speakers Bureau, they more prefer humorists and comedians because I think a lot of times the word comedian gets a bad rap because someone thinks that you're going to just kind of go after them a little bit hard. So I know the term humorist is a little bit more palatable, let's say, in the speaking community. But comedian, humorist, I've been called a lot worse, let me tell you. So you can take the pick. I'm fine with either one.
All right, I'll go with humorist. I love humorist. Has a nice
if
ring
I
to
can
it.
say this as a humorist, I'm actually honored. One of the most recent things I've won is humorist Jeannie Robertson, who you mentioned that I'm open for. She hosts every year a Comedy with Class humor competition, where it's a nationwide contest where they seek clean comedians from across the country, and for this honor, and I'm happy to say that I'm the most recipient winner of that. So I got to perform with Miss Jeannie this past February out in Dallas at the Windspear Opera House to a crowd of over 2,000 people, which was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
2,000 people.
That was fun. That was nice.
So talk to us about your journey. Like how did you get on the path to being a humorist and sharing clean comedy with folks?
Well, I'll tell you, I one time was just looking for something to do on the side. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I stumbled across this advertisement for a comedy class at my local comedy club. And I thought to myself, well, I think I'm funny and people have said I'm funny, so I'll give it a shot. So I took this 6-week class and it was amazing. And the rest, as they say, is history. I just actually celebrated my 6-year anniversary of performing stand-up comedy. And from that time of taking that class to now, it's been just such an amazing ride. And I do clean and family-friendly comedy because I want the type of humor. I do the type of humor, and I want to bring people together in clean comedy shows, which I produce a lot of clean comedy shows here in the Charlotte area, because I want to bring families together. I want the kids to be able to enjoy the same kind of humor that their parents are enjoying, and I want everybody just to come out and have a good time. I always tell people, you come to my show, you never have to worry about like covering the kids' ears or they can't hear this, or you don't even need a babysitter. Bring the kids out. So, and I got to tell you something, there's nothing better than when you can make a kid laugh. Kids are tough.
Kids are tough. Kids are tough. I can attest to that.
This was so funny. A 6-year-old girl, I performed and I got off stage and she walked by me. She goes, "You were funny." I said, "You thought so?" She goes, "You were funny." I said, "You thought so?"
She gave you the nod.
It's like I'm killing it with the 6-year-olds. And another fun fact. So recently, someone reached out to me to consider me to do some corporate work for them. So she emails me back. She goes, "You know how I knew you were a good pick? because when I started watching a clip of your set, my cat stopped what she was doing and she watched also. So let's to recap. I'm killing it with 6-year-olds and cats. I'm killing it. I'm just saying. I'm
Hey,
people.
we need to take you to the zoo. That's all I can say, right? Just go there for 4.
The cats and the kids are into me, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
You talked about corporate work. Talk to us about, your work in the cable industry. How do you find that balance between both?
I am the director of media relations for a national television network just outside of Charlotte. And, I am very fortunate that my employer has been really great with me and very super supportive of me in the comedy because I do my daytime job. My daytime job doesn't suffer because of the comedy. I'm sure if they're like, hey, look, the comedy or the job, you got to choose one. But in all seriousness, I really enjoy doing them both. And I'm thankful that I get to have the support of a really good employer. And so essentially it's like having 2 full-time jobs, but I welcome it and I have a lot of fun doing it. So I'm really fortunate that I have a really great employer who's very supportive of me and my comedy. Probably because I'm doing family-friendly comedy. I can't imagine if I was out here dropping all these kind of crazy, bad jokes. They'd be like, hey, pull that back. No, they're great.
Well, hey, here's to having great employers. I can totally relate to that. Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Love that we have you here with us today. And so without further ado, viewers at home or on their phone, on any screen, anywhere, anytime, I'd love to turn it over to the great Tara Brown. Let's give it up for Tara.
Well,
who's gonna wow us over like the 6-year-olds and the cats.
Yeah, let's see if I can get a bigger audience now, right? Listen, again, I want to thank you so much for having me. If for no other reason, you've given me the opportunity to put on makeup and earrings and put some rollers in my hair and pants with a zipper. I haven't done any of those things in like the past 3 months. So thank you for giving me that chance. I really do appreciate it.
I want to talk about the pants.
Yeah, it's so funny. And you also gave me a chance to step away from my quarantine snacks because that was becoming a problem. When your sweatpants are starting to fit like your jeans, it's not good. And what I realized is I was putting away way too many Oreos. First of all, I don't know if you've been to the supermarket. There are like 20 different varieties of Oreos. That seems unnecessarily aggressive. I don't understand why it's a problem. So what I'm saying to people out there is we start to re-enter the world and get back to our employers. Some of us are going to be a little bit more thicker around the middle than what you remembered. So we need you to love us anyway, because we're in the process of flattening our own curves. That's just what I'm saying. The other thing I learned some things about myself during this quarantine period is that I am indeed a morning person. I didn't even know that was a real thing. But when you've mastered the art of getting up before 8 o'clock to go to Walmart, Harris Teeter, Food Lion, Target, Publix, the QT, the BP, CVS, and Walgreens, all in hunt for your favorite toilet paper, you're a morning person. You just got to face that, And here's the thing, too. It's like this quarantine thing had me buying things I didn't even need. Like I bought lavender scented toilet paper. Now, listen, I like lavender just as much as the next person, but let's just say lavender is not supposed to be on everything, And I also found I was buying because, everyone was like at the supermarket just buying so much stuff. It was like a cross between the Hunger Games and supermarket suite. So I was just buying things I didn't really need, just to have them in the house. Like I bought knockwursts. Like I've never bought knockwursts. I don't even know what they are. They just look like fat, fancy hot dogs to me, So I bought them. They're still in there. I'm not eating them yet. But, one day I was at the deli counter and I was buying liverwurst. I like liverwurst. I know it's an acquired taste. A lot of people might not like it. I like it. So I said to the young gentleman who was serving me at the counter, I said, well, I'm guessing here's something you won't ever run out of because I'm guessing a lot of people don't buy this. And he goes, actually, we sell a lot of it to old people. And I was like, oh, ouch. It's kind of one of those things I wish he had thought but not said out loud. And I was like, that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but it's all good. But and it just reminded me, I am kind of a woman of a certain age, and I embrace that. A lot of people, get weirded out about getting older. I don't. I embrace everything about being 51, right? And there are things about it. You stop caring what people think about you. You live life on your own terms. You get you an AARP card. It gets you a free donut at Dunkin' Donuts. It's nice. I like being in my 50s. But I've just realized I've had to make some adjustments as I've gotten older. Like I am now at this age where I no longer buy shoes with shoelaces. That's a lot of work. I am also at that age where if I drop something on the floor, I have to decide how bad I really need it to determine if I'm going down there to get it. And I'm also at that age where I can no longer eat fried foods, watch cable news, or listen to aggressive hip hop after 7:30. It messes with my spirit, And here's a line I find myself saying at 50, in my 50s, that I never said in my 20s, when my friend said, hey, do you want to go hang out? I'm like, look, I just recently started a new medication. And I got to see how the side effects do before I commit to going anywhere, And so, and listen, by the time my friends, like I said, when I was in my 20s and they said, hey, you want to hang out? I said, yeah, give me about 10 minutes. I'll get ready. I can't do that anymore at 51. Listen, by the time I find the right Spanx to put on and I get to waxing these chin hairs, we're looking at a minimum of 4 hours before I'm ready. And listen, if we're going to be hanging out for more than 2 consecutive hours, I'm going to need a nap early in the day. I like naps. And, speaking of this, the other thing is when you get older, like my preferences have changed. Like I like a good day party. A lot of people like hanging out at night. I like a good day party. Listen, any place I can go and dance and have French toast maybe and get back to the Walmart pharmacy to pick up my prescription before they close, that's a good day in my book. That's what I'm doing. And also, as I've gotten older, I realized that I can't do concerts like I used to like. I used to love to go to concerts. So last year, I went to an old school hip hop concert, Eric B. and Rakim. For me, greatest of all time, Rakim.
That's right.
I love him. So it was great. So I'm at this old school hip hop concert and it's fun. And because it's old school, mostly everybody in here is over 50. And the concert started late, which was a problem for us because we needed to be home before midnight so that we could take our medications or test our blood sugars or something. So we can't afford concerts starting late. But I'm in there and I'm fist pumping and I'm having a good time. And I'm forgetting that I'm 51. I was 50 at the time and overweight until the next morning when I had to negotiate between Tiger Balm, Bengay, and prayer just to get back upright. Kind of gave a new meaning to the term hip hop. So, also as you get older, you realize that you need to have reliable transportation. Like I drive a Toyota Camry. And when I first got my Camry, everyone said a Toyota is a really good car. If you take care of it, it will take care of you. So I put that to the test in sort of an unexpected way. I had gone to the post office. I was feeling really cute that day. I walk outside the post office and fall flat on my face. And as I'm laying there, I'm thinking, you got to get up because you just fell in front of a government building. They got cameras here and you don't want to be a meme or a meme or a GIF or a GIF or whatever these young kids are calling it, So as I'm contemplating all of this, a gentleman pulls up in his car and he's every bit of about 85 pounds. And he goes, oh my God, ma'am, can I help you? Now I'm looking at that guy and I'm looking at me. And I said, sir, I honestly don't think you can. But what you can do is roll me over to that Toyota Camry and I'm going to pull myself back up to safety. I got me. I'll take care of me, dating is also different when you get older. When you're young, you like someone because they're cute. You don't care about that when you get older. It's no longer about hugs and kisses. It's more about mergers and acquisitions, And I'm at this point in my life where I am only interested in a guy if he can answer 3 questions for me. Do you have health insurance? What is your yearly deductible on that plan? And what is their policy on pre-existing conditions and slips and falls? Because I told you I fall a lot, right? Now, I'm like, if a gentleman can't answer those 3 questions for me, he's wasting my time. It's kind of like iceberg lettuce on a sandwich. It's just that for decoration. It really is in the way, and it's unnecessary. You know what I mean? I'm a romaine type of girl, so I don't know. So we're still trying to figure the dating thing out. And I also I'm looking forward to us getting back out in society so I can get back into the gym, because before this happened, I was kind of back exercising and doing some things to stay healthy. And exercising is tough. It's tough to stay dedicated and committed. But what I found is that the secret to sticking to exercise is doing something you love, right? Like, I like the elliptical and Zumba, and I thought I would switch it up and do this hip hop aerobics class. So it turns out I probably shouldn't have done that. I wanted to dance and have fun and maybe drop a couple of pounds. Those folks in there were serious, like they were auditioning for So You Think You Can Dance. And here's the thing, don't believe the stereotype that all Black people have rhythm. I was such an uncoordinated mess that when I got ready to, they got ready to do a complicated routine in the class, the instructor was talking to everybody in the room, but she looked directly at me and she said, everybody doesn't have to do this part. And I was like, what's up with that? She didn't even let me try. So I just went back to my Zumba class. And in my Zumba class, all us big girls have a spot we like to stand in the back left-hand corner. We have our own sorority back there, Delta Kappa struggling, And in the right-hand corner room is our sister chapter. We love pie. That's what we are, incorporated, but it's okay. And another thing about getting in shape is, in addition to exercise, you have to eat right? So I decided that I was going to incorporate some kale into my life. Now, people either have 1 or 2 reactions to kale. They either just hate it or they really love it. And people who love kale really love kale. They're like, you love kale? Kale is great. Kale for president. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. I like collard greens and mustard greens. How bad could kale actually be? So I go out and I buy this kale and apple salad. And it's actually pretty good. The problem came is that I started chewing that salad at 7:30. And at 8:45, I'm still on that first bite of kale. And I'm like, is that the secret to kale, that you chew it so long that you forget to eat anything else? And that's how you lose the weight? Nneka, what doesn't take a long time to eat? Ice cream. Ice cream. Right on down that goes. Yes, it does. Yes. It's okay. So I'm still working on it. Another reason I want to get into shape is that I'm going to do a 5K this year, and I'm really excited about that.
That's good. That's good.
I'm excited about that, but I got to redeem myself a little bit, because I did the same 5K last year, but I came in dead last. And my friends were all great. They were like, that's okay. Way to go. You did it. And I'm like, they know I walk this, right? Because I'm at this stage in my life where running 5Ks is really not going to happen. But I did discover there are some benefits to coming in last in a 5K. You get a police escort the whole way back. That was pretty good. That was really nice. I like that. Recently I was on a talk show with a woman, and she wrote books on body positivity, which I think are amazing, and
can you talk about that? Talk about that.
Yeah, she wrote, I thought it was a very clever idea, because what she was saying was, as opposed to, lamenting those parts of your body you don't like, those physical attributes you don't like, write a love letter to it. So an example would be, Dear Pinky Toe, even though I stub you a lot, you always help me balance. Thank you. And I was like, okay, I got some stuff I can write some letters to. Let me give it a shot. So I was like, Dear Thighs, While I like the way you make me look in certain pants, I think it's a little creepy how you keep touching each other. No matter how far I try to pull you apart, you're still there. It's weird. But I love you. Thank you. So I'm just working on my letters. I think the letter to my stomach is going to take a lot longer. So I'm going to be working on that one, coming up. And so I am just really excited to just get back into the world and do some things. And one of the things I want to do is go to my favorite supermarket that we have here in Charlotte. I haven't been in a while. And it's called Compare. And it's called Compare for us non-Spanish speaking people. For the Spanish speaking among us, it's called Compare. And it's an amazing supermarket. And it's one of the only supermarkets here in the city of Charlotte that's owned and run by Latinos. And it's the only place where you can buy groceries, exotic fruit, hot food. You can buy a cake. You can buy some insurance. You can pay your taxes. You can buy some jewelry. You can enter a sweepstakes to win a car. You can get the car notarized. You can watch some telenovelas while you're waiting for the car to get notarized. You can call Guatemala. And I was there last week, and because I asked someone really nicely, somebody waxed my chin hairs. And I'm just saying, you're not getting that at every supermarket. You're not getting that. Speaking of chin hairs, that's a losing battle I face every day. I will wax these suckers off in the morning, and at nighttime, they're right on back. And not only are they back, but now they grow in long and white. So if I let it go on too long down there, I'll start looking like a civil rights icon up under my chin. And like a Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass mix. And what I found is that that's only acceptable during Black History Month. It really doesn't work in May. I think we're still in May, right? I lost track of days. I think it's just still spring. Doesn't work in spring. Yeah, I'll take it. It's all good.
May 29.
May 29th. Thank you. I have no track of time anymore. But one of the things I get sad about is to see how we're dealing with each other on matters of race. And there's a lot of unrest going on in our country right now. But I think that a lot of the problems we have with each other is that we don't really understand what's going on in each other's world. So I thought I would do my part and help some folks understand, what it's like to have friends of a different race, And so I thought I'd share some thoughts that came out of this week's meeting of Black people everywhere. Because y'all know we meet, right? Y'all know that's a thing. Okay. Don't worry, Black folks. I'm not going to tell them everything. I'm not going to do it everything. So it was decided that it's never a good idea to ask a Black woman about her hair. So if you go to work one day and your coworker's hair is short and then it's long the next day, don't you say a word. If it looks like a Brillo pad one day and a silk scarf the next, you shut your mouth and you mind your business. You just don't say a thing. Don't do it. I also want to help some folks, some of you guys out there, you're thin and you have thick friends and y'all don't understand the plight of your thicker friends. And so I'm going to help you understand that as well. Like for us, the big folks, one of the hardest questions we get asked when we go out to eat is whether or not we want to be seated at a booth or a table, because all booths are not created equally. Those ones where the tables are attached to the wall, those are not good for us. To make you happy and be your friend, we will spend the entire meal feeling like we're giving ourselves the Heimlich maneuver, So if you go to a restaurant with a big friend and they say booth or table, always defer to your big friend. And we would really like it if when we got on airplanes, you guys didn't have that sheer look of panic on your faces because you're afraid we're going to sit next to you. We see you when you do that. And we talk about it in the meetings, over Oreos, over double stuffed Oreos. I honestly think a thin person would rather sit next to a terrorist on a plane than a fat person. But if it's a fat terrorist, I don't know what you're gonna do. You're stuck. I don't know. You know. And I mentioned earlier about dating. Dating is tricky when you get older, but dating is just tricky, period. You know, like I said, as I've gotten older, I've just made some adjustments. And so, you know, my criterion for who I like has changed a little bit. Like, look, I don't like driving at night anymore. So an ideal guy for me would be an Uber driver with a 5-star rating. You know, that's the kind of guy that's going to get me to my destination safely and do so with a smile on his face. You know, that's the kind of love I need in my life. And then also, you know, ladies, I'm going to say something. And if you're watching this with this person, I don't want you to look directly at them when I say this, because I don't want you having trouble. But ladies, you ever notice how unattractive a man becomes when you find out he's broke? Don't look at him. If you're with him, don't look at him right now. You know, I don't even have a joke for that. That's more of an observation than anything. You know, the other thing I talked about, you know, matters of race, and something I want folks to understand is the thing about, I want to give some people some insight into Black folks. You know, I don't care what room we walk into, we're always counting to see how many other Black people are in the room, right? I feel like there are enough of you on here watching that I just went ahead and marked myself safe on Facebook. This feels like a good place for me. I'm okay. So I went to a rural town in New Hampshire, and oddly enough, I didn't encounter any Black people. I went to an entire festival, still didn't see Black folks. Now, granted, it was the pumpkin festival. You know, I don't know if Black folks were at the sweet potato festival. They were at spades in a bidwish tournament, but they were not in New Hampshire when I was there, right? Then I went to Tennessee, and I saw 3 Black people, and that was practically an NAACP convention from what I'm used to, you know. You know, and I also talked to you guys about dating and how that's been tough, but I think a lot of, you couldn't tell I'm single because I'm so picky with my dates, but I think a part of the reason I'm single is because I'm bougie. I have these high-end tastes. You know, I'm the girl who likes prosciutto instead of ham, right? The problem with that is that my pocketbook don't always match up with my tastes. Ladies, you know how it is when your heart says pedicure, but your wallet says polish change. So you got. So I decided I was going to go to the supermarket and I was going to cook a chicken. So I look at this whole organic chicken and it's $17. Then I see this good old hormone-filled chicken not far from it, and it was only $6. So I just got that hormone-filled chicken and I just prayed over it really hard. You know, Nneka, because I believe in the power of prayer. And I'm like, if the Lord can do water into wine, that chicken thing shouldn't be too hard for him, right? And Nneka, here's what I did to make that meal stretch a little bit longer. I just added some kale right to the side of it. Well, that's all I got this morning. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks to the audience for listening. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, thank you so much, Tara, for joining us today. I'm going to give it up for Tara Brown.
Thank you. That was so much fun.
By way of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
And I certainly appreciate your comments on body positivity.
Yes.
You know, I appreciate the levity that you bring to that. I appreciate you embracing yourself and others. And I appreciate, again, the humor and lightness that you brought to us today. As for your dating life, I think that's a whole nother show.
Listen, the body positivity dating life, that's a whole other hour's worth of material. I can keep you here all day for that. But if you go to if people watching, they go to Tara Brown Comedy on YouTube. I got some fun videos up there where we just have a good time. So hopefully, yeah. Well, and listen, we need to laugh right now, right?
We need to laugh. And so with that, we're laughing our way at the end of today's In Good Company. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime.